Okay, so picture this scenario. I think everyone listening has been here, especially people who really get lost in their work.
Oh, yeah.
You are absolutely in the zone. Maybe you're drafting a complex report, maybe you're coding, maybe you're just trying to untangle some massive email thread.
The classic deep work state.
Yeah,
It's what we all strive for, right?
exactly. And you've been at it for like 3, maybe 4 hours straight. The work is good. You feel productive. You feel like a machine.
Mm-hmm.
But then you finally look up, you lean back in your chair to take a breath, and you notice something weird. Your hands. They are freezing.
Like actual blocks of ice.
Yes. You look at the thermostat, the room is 72 degrees, it's perfectly warm, but you, physically, are freezing.
And that's usually the moment people think, okay, I need a sweater, or is my circulation failing? Or something like that.
I always just assume it's me, sitting too still or having bad circulation. But today, we're going to find out those cold hands aren't a wardrobe issue or a health problem.
Not at all.
According to the text we're unpacking, they are a biological signal, a dashboard light, really telling you you've entered a very specific, very intense physiological state.
Right. And understanding that signal is the key to figuring out why most of us, especially high achievers, are so bad at relaxing.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are unpacking a really dense, really fascinating text on cognitive dominant mode versus body dominant mode. And look, I know that title sounds a bit...
A bit dry, a bit academic.
Yeah, exactly. But if you have ever tried to relax on a weekend and just found yourself stressed about being stressed, this is basically the manual you've been missing.
It really is.
Well, the thing that grabbed me, the reason I wanted to cover this, is that the source makes this claim that, honestly, it kind of annoyed me at first. It says that trying to relax is a contradiction in terms.
Right, that we treat it like a verb, like a task on a checklist.
Yes. Item 1, do work. Item 2, relax.
And that is the core conflict here. The source argues the complete opposite. Relaxation isn't an action. It's not something you do. It is what happens when you stop interfering with yourself.
Which is so frustrating to hear for those of us who want the 5 steps to perfect relaxation. But okay, let's start with the physiology because the source builds this from the ground up. Biologically. Let's go back to the cold hands. The text calls this cognitive dominant mode. What is actually happening in the body when we're in deep work?
So it's all about how the brain allocates resources. The brain is this massive energy hog, but it's efficient. When you're in that deep focused state writing, thinking, doing abstract work, your brain is basically hoarding all the energy.
Okay, so the brain is running a marathon.
The prefrontal cortex is, for sure. But the brain has limited bandwidth, limited blood supply. So to prioritize that high-level thinking, it has to deprioritize other data streams. And the source uses this amazing phrase, the body map becomes low resolution.
Low resolution, like when a video game degrades the graphics on things far away to save processing power?
That is the perfect analogy. Normally, you have this high-res map of where your limbs are, your skin temperature, gut tension, everything. But in cognitive dominant mode, the brain just decides that data is, well, it's noise, it's irrelevant.
So it just turns down the volume on the body.
It stops prioritizing sensory input from the body. You essentially lose awareness of your limbs.
Which explains why I can sit in a terrible, twisted posture for 4 hours and not feel any pain until I finally snap out of it.
Precisely. You've muted the signal.
Mm.
But here's the physical part, the reason for the cold hands. Peripheral blood flow actually reduces. Your nervous system literally shunts blood away from your hands and feet and sends it toward the brain.
So the cold hands are just collateral damage.
So they're a byproduct of resource allocation. You're not using your hands to fight a tiger. You're using your brain to solve a problem. So the body goes, we don't need blood in the fingers right now. We need it in the cortex.
You are quite literally living in your head. Okay, I get the mechanics. But this is where I want to push back a little because we hear so much about flow states, right? Athletes chase it, coders chase it. We're told flow is this ultimate state of ease and performance. If I'm in flow, shouldn't I be relaxed?
And that is the huge misconception this text just dismantles. It's a crucial distinction. We tend to mix up psychological flow, which feels effortless, with physiological relaxation. They're not the same thing.
So I can feel good mentally, like I'm just floating through the work, but be physically stressed.
100%. The source points out that cognitive flow, that state where time disappears, actually involves what they call mild sympathetic dominance.
Sympathetic dominance, as in the sympathetic nervous system.
Correct.
Fight or flight.
We are. Now, it's not a full-blown panic attack. You're not running from a bear, but it is a mobilized state. Your system is revved up. Adrenaline and cortisol are a little elevated to maintain that focus.
I mean, that makes sense. You can't be half asleep and write a complex report. You need to be aroused.
Exactly. But here's the trick. The text notes that subjectively, because your attention is so narrow, you might feel no tension.
Oh, I see.
You might say, I feel great, I'm flowing. But that's only because your bodily reference, that body map, is turned off.
It's not that the tension isn't there, it's that the sensor is off.
You're just too distracted by the work to notice you're tense. You aren't relaxed. You're like anesthetized by focus.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sitting there, freezing hands, shoulders up by my ears, feeling like a genius, but physiologically, I'm in a mild stress state.
Yes. And that's fine. We need that state. Civilization is built on that state. The problem comes when we try to switch it off.
Yeah.
Because the off switch works very differently from the on switch.
Right, let's talk about that off switch. Because the text describes what happens when you actually shift into body dominant mode, and it's not just feel and chill.
No, it's very specific.
Yeah.
When you truly drop out of that cognitive state, the changes are immediate and measurable. Peripheral warmth returns within minutes.
The hands thaw out.
Hands thaw out, the capillaries open, and you get this sense of bodily presence back in your torso. The source says you suddenly feel like you occupy space again.
You feel the weight of your body, the fabric of your clothes. The resolution on the body map goes back to 4K.
Exactly.
And the text makes a huge deal about how this happens. It says it happens without actively loosening muscles.
Right. And this is the pivot point of this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
If you take nothing else away, take this. You cannot make this switch happen by trying.
Which brings us to what the text calls the trap of intentionality. Because I'm the person who wants the tutorial. I want the step-by-step. Do I breathe deep? Do I visualize a beach? Do I repeat a mantra? And the source is basically yelling at me, no, stop it.
It really is. It argues relaxing is just a label for the result. It is not the mechanism. The mechanism is stopping interference.
Stopping interference. Let's unpack that. Because to me, that sounds passive. And if I'm passive, I just stay stressed. If I don't do something, I just keep worrying.
It is passive by definition, but it's a very specific kind of passivity. The text lists what not to do, and it's wild. It says, do not try to feel the body, do not check your internal states, do not attempt to induce change.
Wait, do not try to feel the body. That sounds completely backward. If I want to get into body mode, shouldn't I be focusing on my body? Like mindfulness, body scans?
You would think so, but this source is stricter. Ask yourself, the moment you try to feel your body, who is doing the trying?
My brain, I guess.
Your cognitive brain, the manager. The moment you try to relax, you are re-engaging the cognitive dominant mode. You're using the head to manage the body. And as long as the head is managing, the body can't switch gears.
So it's a paradox. To get to the body, I have to stop thinking about getting to the body.
That's it, precisely. The core insight is nothing is actively done. The body simply resumes its own regulation. Your body knows how to be warm. It knows how to relax. It's just waiting for you to stop driving it.
The source has this car analogy that I found really helpful here, with the brake and the accelerator.
Yes, the brake versus the accelerator. It's a great one.
It says switching to body dominant mode is like releasing the brake, not pressing the accelerator.
That's a perfect way to think about it. Most of us, especially high achievers, we treat everything like an accelerator. Need to work harder? Gas. Need to relax? Relax, gas.
I'm relaxing so hard right now. Look at me go.
Exactly. But this is subtractive. You are taking your foot off the brake. And the brake here is that cognitive interference, the monitoring, the managing. When you take your foot off, the your body naturally starts to roll.
But this is where I get stuck, because taking your foot off the brake sounds easy, but the text gets really specific about the thoughts that are the brake.
Oh, the trap of intentionality.
Yeah.
It's brutal. It lists these thoughts that seem so innocent, but just kill the whole process. Things like, okay, I should relax now. Or my favorite, is it working?
Is it working? That's the killer. I do that constantly. I'll be trying to wind down, and my brain just goes, are we relaxed yet? How about now? Is the heart rate down?
And what happens the second you ask that?
I feel more awake. I feel frustrated. My heart rate probably goes up.
Because you just slammed your foot back on the brake. You turned the cognitive mode back on. Asking, is it working? Is monitoring. It's a judgment. It reactivates the analytical mind, and you destroy what the source calls the margin needed for the switch.
The margin. That's a great phrase. It implies relaxation needs space, not effort.
It needs what the source calls quiet. But, and this is a huge but, we have to redefine what quiet actually means here.
Yeah, this part really got me. When I think quiet, I think of a silent room, noise-canceling headphones, acoustic silent.
No. You can be in a soundproof bunker and be incredibly loud internally. The source defines quiet as a margin where no immediate reaction is required.
No immediate reaction is great. So it's about lack of demand.
It's about the suspension of judgment. It's a space where you don't have to decide anything. You don't have to evaluate anything. It's a ceasefire with your own perception.
Which leads to the concept of noise. And I think this is the most useful definition in the whole text. If quiet is the lack of reaction, then noise is not volume.
But the frequency of reaction.
That is such a heavy concept. Noise is the frequency of reaction.
Think about it. You can be at a loud rock concert. The volume is, 110 decibels. But if you're just swaying and listening, you aren't analyzing or judging. That is physiologically a quiet state because your reaction frequency is low.
And on the flip side, you can be in a totally silent room.
Scrolling on your phone.
Yeah.
Dead silent. But every tweet, every headline, every notification triggers a tiny micro reaction like dislike, worry, laugh, annoyed. That is high noise.
It's a machine gun of reaction.
Exactly. And it's not just external stuff. The source talks about internal noise, self-monitoring, micro-emotions, constant evaluation.
Yeah.
Am I hungry? Is this chair comfortable? Did I send that email? Why did I say that thing 3 years ago?
So if I'm on my couch relaxing, but I'm constantly checking my own state, that's noise.
That is high-frequency noise.
Yeah.
And the mechanism is that if your system is constantly firing off these tiny reactions, the inhibitory systems, the parts of your brain that let you let go, they can't disengage.
Why not? What's the brain doing?
Every reaction requires a decision, good or bad. Do I need to do something? Every decision needs the prefrontal cortex. And if the prefrontal cortex is online making decisions, it suppresses the body's sensory systems. The switch can't happen.
This explains so much. It explains why I can spend 3 hours on a Saturday doing nothing, watching TV, scrolling, but feel completely drained. I haven't actually stopped reacting.
You haven't stopped the interference. You've just changed the subject of the interference from work to entertainment. You're still pressing the brake.
This is actually kind of convicting. It suggests that true rest is really rare in modern life. We're almost always reacting to something.
That's the implication. True rest requires a temporary stop to all judgment, and that is very hard to do.
Okay, so we have these two modes. Cognitive dominant, fast, sharp, abstract, cold hands, great for work. And body dominant, slower, warmer, releasing the brake. So what's the goal here? We're not saying we should just live in body mode all the time, right? We'd never get anything done.
No, absolutely not. We aren't demonizing the cognitive mode. It's how we build bridges and record deep dives. The goal is not to live in one state. The goal is the ability to shift gears.
Flow is a gear, not a state of being.
Precisely. The problem isn't that we have a fifth gear. The problem is our gear stick is stuck. We jam it into fifth on Monday morning and can't get it back to neutral by Friday. A healthy pattern is oscillation.
Like a pendulum.
Yes. You enter cognitive flow, get the work done. Then you disengage. You let the interference drop. You return to the body. You cool down. Then you shift back up when you need to.
It's the sticking that gets us.
We do get stuck. And there's a warning in the text about this for people who get into wellness or meditation. It's about holding the state. It says, attempting to hold or stabilize the relaxed state permanently creates new interference.
Oh, that's so interesting. So if I get to that nice, warm, fuzzy body state and I think I must protect this, I can't lose this.
You've just created a new anxiety. You've created state-holding noise. You are now monitoring your relaxation levels. And poof, it's gone. Back to cognitive mode.
It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it spills.
You have to be willing to drift. The source says it's not about learning how to force a return to the body. It's about living without drifting excessively away from it.
That feels much more sustainable. It's not about perfection. It's about not letting the drift get so extreme you forget you even have a torso.
Right. It's about noticing the cold hands and just realizing, okay, I've been in the stratosphere for a while, time to land the plane. Not by forcing it down, but by cutting the engines and just gliding.
But practically speaking, for the listener sitting at their desk right now, can you do this in 5 minutes? Or do I need a week-long retreat?
The source argues it's immediate. It's biological. Remember, the body wants to do this. It's not learning a new skill, it's stopping an old habit. If you can stop the checking mechanism for even 2 minutes, stop checking email, stop checking your mood, stop checking the clock, the warmth will return.
It's trusting that the body is smarter than your brain is.
It really is. It's humbling. We spend all this time trying to biohack ourselves and control our states, and this text is just saying, get out of the way, your hardware works just fine.
So, to recap, we started with the mystery of the cold hands. That's a sign of cognitive dominant mode, high focus, low body awareness, mild stress.
We learned that relaxing isn't a verb. It's the absence of our own interference.
And we really dug into noise. That noise isn't volume, it's the frequency of reaction, the constant judgment, the is it working, all the micro decisions.
And that one-sentence compression for the text just nails it. The switch is a natural physiological transition that occurs when interference stops.
Simple, but incredibly hard to do in a noisy world.
It requires a bit of bravery. The bravery to stop doing, to stop fixing, to just be, even if it feels unproductive for a moment.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a thought that really stuck with me from this. We said noise is the frequency of your reactions. So here's the question. If noise is just how often you react, how much of your stress is simply your refusal to stop reacting to your own internal signals for just 5 minutes?
That's the whole thing, isn't it? Can you let a signal arise, boredom, discomfort, a random thought, and just let it be, without hitting the like or dislike button on it?
Something to mull over the next time you're staring at the ceiling trying to sleep.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, and hey, try to find your margin today.
See you next time.